Hey everybody, Relay here. This is Weekly Wednesday update number 5, and it's actually going to be on a Wednesday, so I'm pretty pretty excited about that. First thing I want to talk about here is the fact that Hogwarts Legacy is the top seller, even though it's a pre-order, and not just on Steam either. It's also on Epic Game Store, the top sellers list, as well as on Humble. So if you take a look at Humble here on the top #1 spot at the pre-order, for whatever reason, it's actually more expensive on Humble Bundle. So I would just stick to Steam or Epic Games for Canadian versions, anyways.
Hey everybody, Relay from the future here. I must have been having some kind of transient ischemic attack because I guess I didn't register the fact that it said deluxe edition and not standard edition or regular edition. So the deluxe edition is in fact worth $90. However, the standard edition is available for $80 Canadian. My mistake. Back to the video.
But it's kind of topping everywhere, which brings me to a topic that is a bit of a hot take in some people's opinions. But I think pre-ordering digitally, unless they give you some kind of incentive, isn't really worth it. So I don't know if they're giving you anything special with the pre-order or what it is, but I mean, if you have a physical copy, it makes sense because then oftentimes you're getting like an art book or like a physical figurine or something like that, at least to make it worth your while. However, yeah, in this case, it doesn't really look like it's giving you much else, unless I could see somewhere else. Let's check Steam to see if there's a incentive. No, you just pre-order. Oh, pre-order exclusive. You get a mount. There you go. You get a mount. As to whether or not that's worth it in-game content, I don't know. I'm not even sure what the utility of mouse is going to be, and I'm not sure if anybody else knows yet, considering the fact that there have been some reveals, but not much has been said about the actual gameplay, and at least not mount mechanics anyways. So yeah, I don't know. It seems promising. Obviously, there's a lot of Harry Potter fans likely. And so the game should be a great success, provided the fact that it's developed properly. But I just found it interesting that so many people would be so quick to pre-order in a day where there's not really much incentive to do so. Aside from that, I think we're going to move on to the next thing I want to talk about here, which is actually Armored Core 6. So there's been a lot of debate recently, at least online, as to what kind of direction they'll take with Armored Core 6 after Elden Ring's release, which was a massive open world concept game. And there were many YouTubers, even famous YouTubers, that were saying that it's going to be like an open world. They're going to make it very open world oriented. So there's going to be multiple paths to take. And I was vouching against it because it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense. The formula, even though it's feasible, it wouldn't be the direction they take. And sure enough, this was confirmed not long ago by Miyazaki himself. The essential direction of Armored Core 6 was to go back and take a look at the core concept of Armored Core and what made that series special. So they wanted to make the assembly, so we're still going to be able to build and everything, customize your own mech, as with previous games. And essentially, they're focusing more on boss battles, is what they're telling me. So not only is it more single-player focused, but also the boss battles are a highlight and a key point in the game, where, as I explained earlier, a lot of people were comparing it to possibly being like a Dark Souls or an Elden Ring. The recipe wouldn't work. The battles are too fast paced, and I feel like those who made an early word about the game coming out, I don't know if it was just for hype, but it's just wrong. The playstyle wouldn't work. The playstyle is too fast. It's too aggressive to be anywhere near Dark Souls or Elden Ring. It's another beast of a game. It's a different category altogether. So right here, IGN asks in the interview, is it fair to say that Armored Core 6 will be closer to the Soulsborne games than the series has been in the past? Miyazaki replied with no. we've not been making a conscious effort to try and direct it towards more Soulsborne type gameplay. First of all, let me make that clear. So right there, that debunks any kind of doubt anyone ever had as to whether or not it's going to be like a open world or even Soulsborne or more towards Soulsborne combat mechanics. And I kind of had an inkling that they were just going to stick with the regular formula. So I'm glad actually that they're doing that. Not that it wouldn't be interesting to see, but I mean, with Elden Ring, we've had almost enough open world, to be honest. We could take a different narrative for certain games, and it'll still be very successful, I'm sure. This is an interesting mechanic here. So IGN asked if it was something similar, or it could have been something similar to Sekiro, at least in terms of combat mechanics. And Yamamura replied that the posture system is kind of similar to what it was in Sekiro. So if you continue to attack an enemy, will cause it like a posture damage, and you can potentially stagger an enemy. So that's an interesting tip even prior to the game release. So you can kind of proc a critical hit off of just being super aggressive with your attacks. Very interesting. So it seems like their versus mode or their online component is only going to really feature a versus mode, at least so far with what they've updated us with. And so for those of you hoping for a co-op title, this may very well not be it. However, there's probably still going to be a pretty competitive aspect with it, with the versus mode, as there were in past titles. So if you're not one for co-op anyways, this shouldn't really bug you too much. But yeah, I get it. It would be cool to see a bit more of a co-op adventure in this game. But I think their main focus was story mode, or as Yamamura says, their main focus was precisely actually on the story mode. So here's a pretty big misconception. So initially, when you saw the first opening trailer scene, when there was a robot picking up like a part of another AC, everyone thought it was going to be like you can salvage, you can go open world and find, and that might have been where the open world concept and misconception was kind of derived from. And they're thinking, you can pick up different parts to find different parts for your mechs and stuff like that. But Yamamura just cleared up that it's more of like a point of view shot that was taken to show how rough and difficult the environment is to survive in for mech pilots. So it's showing it from another angle. Seems like they're turning over a new leaf as well. So it looks like they're resetting the story entirely. He said, "We'd like to think of this as a completely new, fresh story. No direct links to the previous game or continuing any of their stories." So needless to say, I'm pretty excited for it still. It's supposed to be coming out allegedly sometime in 2023, although the actual release date has yet to be determined. And so hopefully at least by the end of the year, but again, we'll see when it actually comes out. So moving on now to another game which was recently announced, Payday 3. Payday is no longer a dead game. Number 3 has just been announced as well, at some point, hopefully in 2023. And so this is kind of exciting. They really don't give a whole lot like that. I don't know what I was expecting out of a 24-second video, but that trailer doesn't really give you a whole lot to go on, obviously. Which, I don't know, hopefully means that they've got a lot more to show and they just don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, I guess all the people complaining about it being a dead game for so long has finally pushed them to make Payday 3, or maybe it was in development this entire time. Regardless to say, it's probably going to be a pretty big hit. People did like the previous Paydays. I think the aspect of making a heist is something that a lot of gamers kind of like, and it's not something that's for widespread throughout the gaming community. And Payday 2 did it really well, but obviously, of course, at a certain point, you played a game for so many years, eventually you grow away from it, right? And so finally, Payday 3 is coming, and I'm cautiously optimistic about this one. I'm sure if they just revive Payday 2 and add a few extra mechanics and, of course, updated graphics, things like that, this is sure to be as big of a hit as number 2 was. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's good that at least we have a release date, which makes sense. Payday 3 2023. Hey, maybe it does happen this year, you know? Other than that, I think we'll move on to the deals, or lack thereof, really. There aren't a whole lot of deals on any of the stores. I took a quick look around just to see, but there's nothing that really jumps to the eye too much in terms of deals, right? The winter sale is over, and the Steam Awards game sale is also over, so there's not much going on in terms of sales. There is one thing to note, however, and it's that Epic Games is giving away, once again, 2 free games this week. So one of which is Kerbal Space Program, which, to my knowledge, man, I don't even know what to make of this game. It looks like you build a spaceship and essentially you try to fly it to maybe another planet. I haven't played the game myself, but it seems like it'd be something kind of fun to dabble around with on your free time. Other than that, we have Shadow Tactics, Aiko's Choice. And this one looks pretty sweet. It's kind of like a tactics game, I guess. Both games are worth looking into, especially if you're on a budget, or you're a college student, whatever. Just know that Epic is steadily giving away free games basically every week. And so even gives us the next game coming out, which is First Class Trouble. As to what that is, I'm not quite sure. I'm honestly not sure what to make of it, but anyways, it's there. So just letting you guys know, of course, that there are always giveaways on Epic Games Store every week now. For those of you who with a tight budget, especially, it's good to know. On Uplay, there's really nothing, or Uconnect, I guess is what it's called now. There's really nothing that jumps to the eye. Some sales on some expansion packs for Division 2 and Rainbow Six Siege, which is on sale for $12, which I guess is okay, I guess. Not much to say, to be honest. Other than that, not a whole lot. Anywho, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it gave you a bit of information that you might have been looking for. And we'll see you on the next Weekly Wednesday update. That's about it. Take her easy.